This is the music judge and jury, aka Queen Millennial, excuse me. And today we're here to talk about why my girl, your girl, Keke Palmer, is a legend in the game. That's right. Don't sleep. Don't sleep. Because most of y'all couldn't do it like Miss Palmer. You would have been out, okay, when things got tough. But Miss Palmer is a fighter, okay? But before we get into the meat and potatoes of things, as usual, a word. When Gen Z, or I should say when millennials do Gen Z type records, songs, they do it better. Why? Because there's an angle and experience that they have that the younger generation hasn't been able to tap into, that they bring to the table, and across the board, most of them are bringing nothing but skill as well in it. Okay? I said what I said. Welcome back to It's That Girl, or It's Not That Girl. Now, I'm leaning at the workhorse, and on this show, we talk about popular music and popular artists from today, yesterday, and beyond. We're here to talk about Miss Keke Palmer and why she is a legend in the game. Okay? Even though she's been largely slept on in the music game, she keeps coming back, and she has a dedicated fan base, okay, of people that come to check for her, including me. Keke Palmer really truly is a star, folks, and is just glad to see her where she is now and playing the game like she needs to play it. So I want you to get comfortable, grab yourself a drink, a snack, smoke something. I don't know, just get comfortable, because this is It's That Girl, or It's Not That Girl. Take it away. Alright, welcome back to It's That Girl, or It's Not That Girl. I'm Peyton 3.0, the artist, the musician, the entertainer, not the content creator, the YouTuber, or the influencer. But those are great platforms and tools to build that brand, business name, but most importantly, the community. And hopefully you, yes you, will join this community today by hitting that like button and sharing people that you know that like artists, commentary, reaction, and reviews. And of course, to become part of this community here, you have to do 3 things: comment, subscribe, notification bell. Alright, now let's roll right on into this thing. Now, I was in my 20s, honey, when this young, wonderful starlet debuted on Aquila in the B. Okay, this was the 2000s. I believe it was 2005. Okay, and you don't know what kind of future somebody's going to have in that business, because really it depends on so many factors. But the biggest thing it really depends on is the personality of the person as well. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to wanting to survive in the business and what it's going to take to do it. Even when the industry seemingly is not paying attention to you like they were. Right? So Keke, she was doing from Aquila and the Bee to, what was it, the Disney Jump In with Corbin Blue, to her own show on Nickelodeon. And then she also dropped her first album on Warner Records. Okay, so uncool. And I was elated. And I thought that album, even to this day, it's a great album. Great album. Although we know that Keke, she didn't like it, but she just, they basically said, this is who you are, basically. And so here are these songs crafted around who we think you are, instead of you saying who you are. But unfortunately, that really just is the music business, right? Rarely do they let any artist, especially when they're new, create their own artistic vision and execute. No, there's already a plan, somebody who is specifically hired for that to come on in and give you an identity, okay, based on what they think you are or who you should be, okay? But anyway, the album didn't really do that well because Warner wasn't really pushing her like that, and they should have. That's a lot of money to waste on an album and not push the artist, especially when the album is good, it's great. This is the opportunity for them to capitalize on Keke's brand, you know, because it was at the height at that time. So they weren't pushing her, you know. The show with True Jackson VP ended, and this is where things would get shaky for Keke, because this is when the business started to get funny, and even the acting world for her. And she was at a crossroads, you know, and she had to figure out what she was going to do. Well, Keke was not allowed to let herself fade from irrelevant. Keke was going to do whatever she needed to do to keep things going, right? From the time of her mother and father, who were actors and, you know, thespians themselves, before they had Keke, that didn't go anywhere further than the community theater. You know, had Keke and they saw that same spark in her. Well, they packed up and went to LA because they saw that she really wanted this and they wanted to support her. So everybody, including the brothers and sisters, packed up just for Keke and went straight to LA. Well, they didn't just go into audition rooms and do the regular old audition the same way as everybody else did. No. They got creative. They went in there, mother created a little scenario, whatever. Keke started singing, whatever. And and just had some elaborate plan, which actually shocked the people, the producers, whoever was in there for the audition, who was conducting the audition. Sorry, I'm burping in your ear. But anyway, whoever was conducting the audition, they got their entire lives. They got their entire lives every time, because they never seen anything like that and so bold. But she was so cute, and it worked for them. You know, it opened the doors for them. It opened the doors for the Aquila and the Bees. Opened the doors for True Jackson VP. Opened the doors for the Jump In, right? Excuse me, mucus is gonna get to me today. But anyway, but then that star was fading fast after Nickelodeon, True Jackson VP, the label situation not working out, her being frustrated with the label, her vision not being able to be seen and come true. And so her mother had to have a serious talk, right? And this very moment right here would be the turning point, which would make Keke at this point a legend in the game, okay? Because when most people and young artists would fold, Keke did not know. There was something extra special in Keke an extra fire, something that was not in most other people trying to pursue these things, and not just get their foot in the door, but maintain it, which is even harder, right? She wanted to maintain it and go further. She had big visions, and her mother too, you know, for her daughter, right? Miss Sharon. And so they sat down and they had talks with each other, and they came up with strategies and things and whatnot to like get jobs and gigs and whatnot to keep moving, keep going in this thing, you know. Sharon had already seen the fact that she wasn't able to do what she wanted to do completely in her vision. Her husband, who were, you know, actors and singers and all that, and who didn't exactly hit the big time, they didn't want that same thing for their daughter. You know, Sharon, who was with Keke the whole time, didn't want the same thing for her daughter. And so they would come out with the same thing that got them in the door in the first place. Well, it's the same kind of thinking that would earn Keke the title in the GP. Keke always keeps it. Keke Palmer always keeps a job. Okay? Keke Palmer always keeps a job. Keke had a talk show. She would do hosting shows. She would somehow get a movie deal. She would get on a TV show or two. Keke and her mother knew how to go around and start networking with the people and to get the gab, and you know, and that would be the magic catalyst to her constantly somehow popping up, but not just in the acting world, but in the music world too, because Keke was dropping music and albums, and unfortunately people somehow were still sleeping on it, whether it was the record labels or her being independently doing it herself. You know, Keke, when you saw her in the music videos, and I'm somebody that could recognize like somebody with the X factor, somebody who's a star, and Keke was that. The way that she was able to work that camera and move, she was that. She unfortunately just was not getting the proper marketing and things that she needed to do just as well as her counterparts that were doing just really, really good in the GP, you know, excuse me, there it goes again, in the industry. And we're not cutting that out, okay? Anyway, fast forward, you see her doing things like another Disney movie. You see her doing things like that movie with the snake. You see her doing things. You just keep seeing Keke pop up, mainly in the movies. See, Keke was more revered for somehow in the acting world than she was in music, right? But I stayed around for the projects because she's good and the music's good. And so Keke, because she loves too, was putting out the projects. But even though they were running on passion and faith and sheer warrior spirit, the money wasn't moneying the way it needed to, at least when she tried to fund her own music projects and going bankrupt and figuring out how the money flow should go. And eventually Keke and her mother would figure it out, right? You would figure it out. The years were going by, her 20s were going by. She was still doing the thing. She had Keke had a few moments with a GP every now and then throughout her career that had people talking on the net, right? She had a few moments. One of those moments also was Sorry to That Man. She had a little stint on the show Star with the song Bossy. Okay, Bossy. But that was probably the only time the GP really recognized her musically was for the song Bossy. The way they did. And then after that, I would have thought like that was her moment for the rest of her music career to really get the recognition it deserved. But it did not get that recognition it deserved. And again, her music kind of fell on deaf ears when it came to the GP, but not her core supportive superfan audience. Okay, like me, I used to have Keke Palmer marathons, okay, of her music videos, back to back to back. Just put them all on a playlist on YouTube and play them because that's just how much of a star she truly was. She just wasn't getting the push she needed, right? She's kind of left out there, in the wilderness to fend the wolves off by herself. But somehow she was able to. She had her mother there, and they made their way, and they kept finding ways to stay relevant, especially in this internet thing. I believe, honestly, and I think you can agree with me, that the social media of it all, the internet, is what was the biggest tool that Keke was able to stay relevant to the GP. You know what I'm saying? Besides just being able to keep a job, her already having a name, people recognizing her and remembering her was able for her to sustain some type of presence and relevance with the general public. Okay? So that was a big tool in her arsenal as well. Right? And still it is to this day. Fast forward from 2005 all the way up till now. It's 2015. Not 15. It's 2025. And Keke is still in the game in some kind of way. Doing it for herself. Actually being the boss. Whole theme around her being the boss. Whole album around her being the boss. She wears the crown. She's that chick from Chicago. Battle warrior. Right? And this is the reason why Keke is a legend in both games, because again, she continues. She keeps dropping albums. She keeps dropping her music, and even though the GP is still not recognizing her for those efforts, and let's talk about her singing voice. Keke is a lyric soprano. Okay, lyric sopranos don't have much color or voluminous or texture to their voice. There are some lyric sopranos that have an edge to their singing voice, which is a recognizable tone, right? Excuse me, I wasn't my nose, but that's all right. But a lot of times they're just light, pretty, pleasant to the ear type singers, right? And that's what kind of voice that Keke has, right? But listening to Keke throughout the years and paying attention to Keke's voice and the fact that she's been vocal training and she takes her artistry very seriously and whatnot, and listening to her today, her voice has gained true, it's gained. It's kind of like Taylor Swift. She's a lyric soprano too, but she's been working on her voice, and it shows in the more of a little more meatiness on it, right? A little more power on it. The most that a lyric soprano's voice can get, that's what these two have been able to accomplish. And Keke Palmer sounds better than ever. It's just a part of getting that to translate for whatever reason. When there's no big industry backing you, and you being more known for your comedy and your gags and your acting overshadowing your musical abilities, which seem to be what Keke Palmer has faced all of her career, right? Can I get this mic to do what I need to do, please? Thank you so much. Anyway, Keke just keeps finding ways to stay in that spotlight. Whether it's some controversy, this baby, that boyfriend. She's making songs with that boyfriend and music videos currently right now. It's a whole thing. But anyway, this is not to really highlight the negative stuff. It's to highlight the fact that most girls like her would have already folded and faded out of the spotlight. But Keke Palmer did not, because she decided that she was a warrior, she was a fighter, and she was going to find a way to keep getting a job. Okay? Not some basic traditional job. Okay? She was going to find a way to keep getting a job in the industry. She's going to find a way to keep making those music, that albums. Okay? And she did. And here she is. And how many years is that in the game? In both games? 2005 to 2015, 20 years. 20 years in the game. Okay? 20 years not being an A-lister, but 20 years in somehow staying relevant. 20 years in surviving in this vicious, cutthroat game that is the entertainment business. So we salute Miss Keke Palmer. We salute a true star in so many facets. Okay? Now, that's all I got to say about the matter. This has been Peyton 3.0, the artist, the musician, the entertainer, not the content creator, not the YouTuber, and not the influencer. AKA Worklina, the workhorse, Queen Millennial, the Audacity Queen, and the Technology Queen. Now, if you got your entire life today and you learned something, and I made you think about something why Keke Palmer is still relevant today, if you were that clueless, well, then hit the like button and share people that you know that like artist commentary, reaction, and reviews. And of course, to truly become a part of this community today, you got to do 3 things: subscribe, comment, and notification bell. Now, you made it to the bonus round. Could you stay to the end? Thank you so much. I told you that I was an artist, musician, entertainer, right? So we're going to do that right now. This time, I'm not going to do an original rap of mine. I'm going to do a cover. This is going to be in honor of the late Left Eye, the verse from No Scrubs. See, if you can spatially expand my horizons, that leads you to class of scrubs, never rising. I don't find it surprising that you don't have the G's to bounce my head to the coast overseas. So, let me give you something to think about. Internet your mind when intentions to turn you out. Can't forget to focus on the picture in front of me. You and Claire's DVD on digital TV screen. Satisfy my appetite with something spectacular. Check the vernacular, and then I get back to you with diamond-like position, such as boys what I envision. Can't detect acquisition from your friend's expedition, Mr. Big Willie. If you really want to know, add chili. Can I be a silly? Ooh, not really T-bars, and I'ma sing you retards, except I know your felines, but you don't hear me though. And now, the song.
I know you're out there looking for a stress reliever.
You're looking for a stress reliever out there.
Drugs, the alcohol,
here we go.
But let me tell you what you need to do. Here we go. Blood pressure, you worked all day like the messenger. Worked so hard that the bills are high. All you do is cry me a freaking try. Punch that clock every freaking day. Still on your money, you got to pay. Fuck that shit, man, you need relief. But you got is free for the fucking cheap. Some take care of the freaking kids. Munching your plate for your freaking lid. Stress too much, always in a rush. You need even brushing, you're feeling flush. What is it that you're gonna do? Gonna have some relief in you. Time to get out when the music plays every freaking day. All I gotta say is jump.
And that is all I will be giving you, okay? Now, if you want to hear that song in its entirety, then comment in the comment section. You ready? Let me hear that song. And I most certainly will, absolutely for free. Something about you is taking me higher, and you ain't ever gonna come down. You light to my fire, and you